Hello, Sharam Namdarian here, founder of all things great in the universe. Hi, Sharam Namdarian here. In this video, we're going to be talking about, very honestly, about hunger and feeling uncomfortable with hunger. Now, this is, if you don't know, I'm currently in a process where I'm pioneering a new area of life that, without lack of a better word, I can call it meditation, weight loss via meditation, meaning can we lose weight via being mindful and meditative over the internal beings that we have? Now, truth be told, I set down on this pathway to lose weight. I've tried a bunch of diets. At one point in my life, I was almost, I would say, semi-anorexic. I have, with all of these different methods, lost weight and then gained it back. But it was because, I would describe it, because there's unfinished business. We as humans, we have unfinished business. We tend to repeat things because we have unfinished business. I know Alison commented that she wanted to talk about like addictive behaviors and personalities and stuff like that. I think for now, until I do a video on that, the reason why we go back in time to almost deal with these things, we have bad personality or addicted to bad relationships and stuff like that, is actually because I would describe it as more like unfinished business. What this video is about again? This is my journey that I am currently sharing, and once it is complete, I will then share more of an in-depth process. So I do these vlogs because I want to document the process. So thank you so much for joining in, and maybe you do get something out of me sharing my journey with this, and if you don't, then you know what, that's fucking great. Leave a like and get the fuck out of here! But here we are talking about the weight loss via meditation method and our comfortability with hunger, because that is something that I've become very aware of. Now, at the beginning of the weight loss via meditation journey that I've been set out on, it became very apparent to me that there was a lot of reasons why I ate. You know, I would eat because I was feeling ashamed of myself. I would eat because I was feeling really guilty. If I felt really guilty, food itself was a portal for me to explore that guilt. You know, I'd eat the food and be like, oh God, I feel really bad. Once I was able to let those feelings of feeling bad go, those weird habits I had melted away. So once the emotional benefit that we get melts away, the habit melts away too. But going through this process, I eventually learned that once we've evolved past those weird shame-eating habits that we tend to have, like the overeating or the eating for feeling special that I've talked a lot about in these videos, one thing that I really want to get across is that sometimes, and my latest revelation with all of this, sometimes is we are just uncomfortable with feeling hungry. You know, we have a certain level of hunger that we are comfortable with, and sometimes we just are uncomfortable with being hungry. Now, there are other things that I'm learning too, such as maybe we actually are just a bit numb, so we need a lot of food to suffice us. But the goal here is not to lose weight. Like, to be honest, it's evolved past that. I say weight loss via meditation. The goal here is to look in the mirror and to have the person standing there be the person that we feel that we are, meaning that like the physical form represented. Now people are like, ooh, physical form, so superficial. But by calling something superficial and not exploring it, you then make superficial superficial. If you allow yourself to love what is superficial, what ends up happening is we allow more of it into our life, and then as a result, the superficial becomes deep. You know, if you allow yourself to love beauty, for example, or love someone for their beauty, you then know yourself deeper by looking at that person and go, I love your physical form. But that is a reflection of your soul, and maybe there's something more in that. You know, there is depth in superficiality if you allow it. So I've been on this journey. I've been on this very interesting journey. And to be honest, that's one of the biggest revelations I've had recently. That in myself, at least, I was uncomfortable feeling hungry. Why was I uncomfortable feeling hungry? Because there's all of these resistances. I'm used to resisting. I'm used to fighting something. I'm used to trying to go somewhere. That if suddenly all my problems were solved, I would have nothing to fight. I would have nothing to strive for. But that is a fallacy. I was on a call the other day talking to someone and talking to a friend, and no name, no names, because I keep these things confidential. But from a very interesting example, I was presenting to him the solution to his relationship problems. The solution. But sometimes, why have the solution? From that perspective, but I am a thinker. I like to think. If I already have the solution, I have not thought enough. And I'm used to thinking. I'm used to solving problems. I only allow myself a solution once I have attempted to solve the problem X amount of time. But that is what that's what we do as humans. We have arbitrary standards that we have decided are good. This is good, this is bad. So if you are a problem solver, you might then not allow the thing into your life, not allow the manifestation into your life until you have thus transgressed the path that is X amount of problem solving. Then you will feel satisfied and allow that. So then I say to this man, it's okay. You can have this solution now. You are an intellectual. You will find other things to intellectualize. But now is the time for solutions. So what do? We have these standards, these interesting standards that we have with hunger. We do not allow ourselves to feel hungry until we have done a certain amount of time. We do not allow ourselves to feel full unless we have, at an emotional level, eaten a certain amount. I was having this conversation with my partner today about how often, what do? We eat via weight, So that's, I find, very interesting. So the interesting thing here is that comfortability. I talked about resistances. I talked about resistances to feeling comfortable with hunger. But that is in my own introspection, in my own journey via weight loss, via meditation. The emotionality, the understanding that I've developed is that I was uncomfortable with feeling hunger because at a very core level, I like fighting things. Once I'd feel that I'd fought it enough, then I could say, no, I don't want to eat this food because I'm actually not hungry. But then once I realize this and allow myself to feel the suppressed hunger, because that's what it is. It's suppressed hunger manifesting as weird behaviors. We were hungry once, maybe as a child, and we learnt to not be hungry. We learnt to not deal with that hunger. We learnt to not be friends with it. That sometimes it has a place, sometimes it doesn't have a place. Just like sometimes love has a place and sometimes it doesn't. Just like sometimes anger has a place and it doesn't. It is a tool to pick up and pick down just as much as you pick up any tool in life. So that hunger, we are not the masters of, but it is the master of us. The goal here is to live in flow with life and in flow with your body. And if you put something in your mouth and say, I wish I had done something different, then from this perspective of the universe that I am sharing here today, you will not gain control over that thing. You will not gain control over that, putting that food in your mouth and feeling guilty until you let go of if you feel guilty or not. You must let that guilt rise. You must let that hunger rise. You must become friends with it. You must let it evolve. When you let go of control over your emotional reactions to things. So if you let go of control over hunger, you let yourself be hungry just as much as you let yourself be full. You let go of those resistances towards feeling hunger, feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling all those things around food. You elevate that feeling. You elevate it. You let it rise to its next logical form. That maybe hunger becomes anticipation. There's a thing that I want to share here that'll put some of this into perspective. And that's emotional. It's a bit of a sidestep, so thank you for bearing with me. That is emotional fatigue versus physical fatigue. Now, if you don't know already, I also have a job where I work night shifts. Now, I've done a lot of mental work on myself to work on my energy levels. Growing up, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. And I learned eventually that a lot of my fatigue levels were actually mental. Now, I've experimented a lot with energy levels and things like that. And to be honest, the letting go process that I talk about now, which is to observe your feelings, to let them rise, to let go of the resistances we have to that, and to actually ultimately let that feeling go itself, ultimately led me to realize that a lot of the fatigue I had was actually fucking mental and emotional fatigue. It's like, oh, I should be asleep. Oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I should be doing that. Oh no, I'm awake for too long. Oh, I don't have enough sleep. Like, so I'll sleep for a couple hours, go to work at night, come back at 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that, sleep for a few hours and do a video like this. You know what I mean? But it's that mental chatter that stops us from actually, I know this is a topic for another video, but it does illustrate some points that I, to be honest, at this point I forgot, but I know I'll get back to in a second. So what's interesting is that eventually we learn, once you let go of all the things that stop you mentally and emotionally from fatigue, you learn what genuine fatigue is. It's that feeling where someone's like, hey man, what's up? And you're like, yes? Like, it's that delayed response that your brain has just too much gunk going on. You know, when you sleep, your brain cleans itself. It's like that, I can't put it into words right now, but it's clogged, essentially. So your responses are delayed. It's fatigued. It's running out. But I would say that most fatigue that people go through is emotional fatigue. I could literally make an entire business about curing emotional fatigue in itself, but to me, oh, there's so much more I want to do. So I present this to you as a parallel because maybe we are emotionally hungry before we're actually hungry. And that maybe to manifest the desired body we want, we have to realize that it's okay feeling hungry. And maybe to feel okay feeling hungry, we must learn to feel more comfortable with feeling hungry. And maybe to become more comfortable with feeling hungry, we must allow ourselves to feel it, to fully witness and feel the feeling of feeling hungry, to let go of our resistances to it, and then ultimately learn to let go of the feeling of hunger, because that is our emotional reaction to it that we are letting go, not the feeling of hunger itself. And then, once you have realized, and this is the trajectory that I'm on, once we have realized that we can create the body we want, we might stop trying, because we might have been doing it to prove some shit to ourselves. To be honest, that's, as I'm saying that, I'm like, yeah, that rings true to me. You're sexy now. Be sexy now. But the body will be nice to have. For some reason, society, we put a lot of effort on that. We are sexy now. Be sexy now. So if you did get something out of this video, make sure to leave a comment. I want to know. And I'll talk to you soon. Make sure to subscribe for more videos about life, love, letting go, and everything in between. And I will talk to you soon. Kabow!